Hello, welcome back to Salty Sunshine. This is your host, Lisa. Happy to be back to talk some shiz. The Oscars just passed, and I didn't watch it, but I saw the red carpet, I saw some clips. It's so interesting that I haven't seen any of these movies, even though I watch so much stuff. I just haven't even come across it. The only one I came across was Begonia, but the rest I haven't. So I'm going to make it a point to at least watch one battle after another that won Best Picture and the Begonia, maybe. And then if I have time, Sinners, which Michael B. Jordan won acting actor in a leading role. So I think I'm going to try to do that because I'd like to be in the know. What's everyone talking about? I've never seen this stuff. It's so interesting. Were they in the movies first and then streaming? I don't know. The Begonia one I did pass a few times. I think maybe it's on Prime, but it didn't look that interesting. Is it any good? I don't know. We'll check it out. We'll check it out. The word on everyone's lips, Slow Moo, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I will talk about that in a second. That's just crazy drama. And I never talked about the fact that Sophia with an F, Sophia Franklin, is writing a memoir about her fallout with Alex Cooper, and the book is called Daddy Issues. Low hanging fruit. The title, you know, I don't know. I think it's fine. It's direct. You know what the book's about. She has the book cover with her and then Alex Cooper next to it, like blocked out. You can see the blonde hair. So, fine. I don't personally think there's going to be any bombshells in there. I feel when this all happened long ago, and I'll never forget, oh my gosh, my daughter was younger in college, I think, at the point, and I listen to everything. I'm the same as I was when I was 25, that I am now, over 40. I consume content. Is it a little embarrassing that I watch slow mo? Sure. Do I embarrass myself in my head every time they say mom talk is going to fall apart and we need a new leader? Yes, I think, okay, it's time to cut this off. But I like the show because it's vanilla drama. And if they didn't say those stupid things, which I feel are dumb because they are 30, some of them are 30s, just stop. I just watch stuff. I like to be in the know. I'm a content consumer. Although there's so much now that I do have to pick and choose, which is why I was never going to watch The Bachelorette in the first place because there was no point because we all know she didn't go there for real reasons and it's a shit show. So why get invested? So that was not on my bucket list. But Sophia with an F, back in the day when Call Her Daddy first came out, I think my daughter was in college and I was like, what are the kids listening to? She would tell me, oh my gosh, you don't know what they said on this and this and that. So I started to listen. I'm like, oh my gosh, can you turn that off? That's garbage. What are you doing listening to that? But she would talk to me about it. So I would listen to it. So I know what she was talking about. And it was a little funny, which I always appreciate humor. And so I listened to it and we would talk about it. And I also wanted to guide her since she was in college, maybe elaborate a little bit on the things that we're talking about or say that's not true or that's not a good idea or. But I remember when they blew up, I was in the know. I listened to it. And when the fallout happened, I told Brianna, there's no sides, obviously. This is so stupid when people take sides. But my opinion from what the information given, I always said that Sophia with an F was acting like a brat. I didn't agree with her. You're nobodies. You got a platform. You blew up overnight. You're under contract. David Portnoy didn't owe you anything. You're under contract. He was giving you a lot for being no ones and just popping up on the scene. Yes, once your contract ends, you can negotiate or leave or do whatever you want. Alex was smarter about it. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. You don't jump ship. And that's what do they call it now? There was a whole article about it the other day that I don't know if it was millennials or Gen Z were getting fired at alarming rates because they want something for nothing. They want it all now. They don't want to work for it. They don't want to put the effort. They don't want to climb the ranks. They want everything yesterday, and that's not how it works. And if you do that, you're shooting yourself in the foot. So I feel like that's what Sophia with Enough did with the help of her boyfriend at the time, the HBO guy that worked at HBO, and he put things in her head and she thought she was the bomb.com. And she said, "No, I want all. I want it all." And she screwed herself. Sorry, not sorry. She would have been much more successful now. I don't know how many people listen to her podcast, but I don't think it's even close to Alex Cooper's, but I don't like any of them, to be honest. Not as people, just a podcast. It's not enjoyable to me. I don't go looking for it. Yeah, I'll listen if there's a guest I want to hear. But in the scheme of, whatever. Anyways, but I did remember, and Brianna would tell me, "No, what are you talking about? They deserve more, this and that." I said, "That's not how the world works." She put the cart before the horse and she made a mistake. So now fast forward a few years, Alex gets her deal. She moves on to Spotify, whatever. She leaves Dave Portnoy, which I thought was interesting because he did give them their start. I'm a very loyal person, so I'm curious. I don't know what I would do in that situation. I remember a few years passed, then Sophia with an F came out with her new podcast, and then she had this dumb thing on there called Sloot University, a play on the word slut, SLOOT, Sloot, and it was pretty silly. But at the beginning, I listened to a few episodes just to see what she would say, and she kind of talked about how she kind of went into hiding. She moved back to Utah, lived in her mom's basement. She would do some episodes with her, I think her cousin, and she kind of talked about what she was going through those years. And she went through a dark time and she just kind of got out of it. And she opened up her own media company and opened up her podcast. And that's it. I mean, it's not, we all know what happened. So I don't know what's going to be in the book that's going to be any different, but we'll see. Am I going to read the whole thing? Absolutely not. But we'll see. I don't know what bombshell she has in there. And unless it's stuff of her personal life, the breakup maybe, or I don't know. Another topic. Bethany Frankel posted a video of her doing face cupping, and she is such a spaz. It's so funny. I like Bethany, but she is all over the place. You see her videos, her hair is everywhere. There's crumbs on her cheek, on her eyebrow. She's just all over the place. And she says, "Oh, I was home and I looked over and I saw this box of face cups that I bought. And those are the ones that you suction on your face and slide over your skin after you put some facial oil. And it circulates your face, and it's different than the gua sha because it brings the blood up to the surface and moves it around. I use it probably 4 times a week. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's better than gua sha because gua sha just moves liquid around in your face, but this one actually gets the blood flow circulating and pumping, and I really love it. And I use the glass ones. And Bethany posted a video that she took it out of the box. Did she even put oil on her face? I have no clue. But either the facial cups on the edge, on the rim, were cracked when they got there, or she left them out on a counter or something, or it fell or it chipped. And then she slid it over her face and cut herself open. She was bleeding on camera. And I don't know why you would videotape this without knowing what actually happened. She didn't elaborate. Everyone's just like, "Oh my God, what happened? You should sue them." I don't know. What did it come in? What was the container like? I have one that has 4 sizes. They're little grooves inside a box at all times. I never leave them loose out because it is glass. And you have to properly care for it because they do sell them in plastic, but if you get the glass ones, you have to be careful. And obviously, she didn't elaborate on any of these situations. So it could very well be her fault that she just had the box, thrown around, or she dropped it and didn't realize and didn't notice. But she made this whole stink. It was so dramatic. And I love my facial cups and I love face cupping and I love the glass because I feel like it's just a little cleaner and you can wipe them off with the alcohol, the witch hazel, and I love it. So as long as you get a box, and I have one on my Linktree that has the 4. I don't know what box it comes in because the one I bought, they no longer sell. They discontinued on Amazon. But I linked another one. But there's so many. Just find one or get a box that has the groove that they're not flying around anywhere. Mine is secured. And I love a face cup. So it made me sad to watch everyone talk crap about the glass face cups because I think they're amazing and they make my face snatched. So I didn't like that. Kristen Cabot, the whole Coldplay Jumbotron fiasco back, I don't know what, a year or two ago. She went on Oprah podcast. I forgot Oprah had a podcast. She kind of has a talk show podcast because she has an audience. It's just like her talk show. They're just streaming it on the podcast platform, which I love. And I made a little clip, a video about it on TikTok, and I truly enjoyed it. I have to go back and see if there's any other interviews I want to see. Oprah is really good at her job. You forget because we have all these new podcasters that have all these guests on their shows and they suck at interviewing. And it's a big nothing burger. We get nothing out of the interview. Nothing is elaborated. Nothing. It's like Love is Blind reunion. They don't ask the pertinent questions. They don't stop to clarify. They don't dig deeper. And Oprah does it, and she doesn't do it in a way that's intrusive. She just wants to know, wait a second, what are we talking about? So you're saying you did it, or this didn't happen, or where were you exactly? She just knows how to get the right info. You want the info. And I really loved it. And it's so refreshing because you have, I don't know, Alex Cooper. She interviews all these celebrities. She doesn't ask the right questions. She doesn't elaborate. There's no, I don't know. I get nothing out of it. So that was so refreshing. Everyone is like, oh, Oprah, the Epstein pedophile. You know what? First of all, I don't know what you're talking about. Where's the proof that I don't believe Oprah's a pedophile? Sorry, I just don't. If she is, then where's the proof? And then I'll believe it. Second, Oprah is an icon. Oprah came from incest and rape as a child. She's been very open and honest about this. I don't understand why anyone, just because her name's popping up where a million other names are, because guess what? I've talked to people in life that probably have done disgusting things and gone to their house for parties. I don't know their personal life. I don't know. Whatever. Back to Oprah and Kristen Cabot. So Kristen Cabot basically said that it was a big blow up for nothing because they didn't even have a full on affair, that they were starting to see each other as co-workers. They worked very closely. They developed feelings. He told her he was getting divorced in the middle of that. She was actually in the middle of getting a divorce. Her ex-husband was at the stadium with another girl while she was there. So they were perfect. She was perfectly within her range to do whatever she wanted. Everyone's like, oh, she shouldn't be with a coworker. Do you know how many people meet at work? I have a friend that just got married from someone. She got divorced and she's been working with this guy for 10 years. So you develop feelings. Work is the perfect place to meet and develop feelings for someone. It's a slow roll. You get to know them. There's no pressure. You see them. You don't see them at work. You don't even think about it, but they grow on you without you even knowing. It's the perfect dating situation. It just is. And I've always said affairs don't start in the bedroom. They start over convo. They start over coffee. They start over a walk here, a thing there, a lunch here, a lunch there. That's why when people say, oh, that's nothing, we're just going to eat. That's called a date, sir. That's a date. You're on a date with your coworker. I don't care who you are. And if you're not interested in them, that's fine. But that is a slippery slope. So they just hung out a lot because they worked together a lot. They started having private conversations about their personal lives. The feelings grew and they had a plan to go to the board and tell them, look, we're both getting divorced and we're interested in starting a relationship. So we wanted to talk to you about it. But then they went to the Coldplay concert, which she says she never goes out. They never touched. They never kissed before that. And when they went to the Coldplay concert, I guess they had a beer and got loose. And then that happened with the Jumbotron. So her life was turned upside down. And so was his for a light emotional affair, and it wasn't even a full blown. So that was very interesting. I think I said it on the clip. I think the biggest takeaway is the public is insane, and particularly women. Women are crazy. And if women want to stop being labeled a certain way, they need to stop with the girl boss silly notions and the bad behavior, because all these people going up to this poor woman in public and calling her names and surrounding her car at her school, her kid's school, calling her awful things, it's diabolical. It's insanity. I would never go up to a stranger and yell obscenities in their face for a situation that has nothing to do with me. It's none of your business. Sure, you talk to your group of friends. Oh, I can't believe she did that. That's what a piece of shit, you know? You say that within your house, within your friend group. You don't go out and display this in public. What do you care, first of all? You're not invested. And if you are, you're a loser. It's just crazy. The public has lost their mind and women need to reel it in. Reel it in. Gossip is for your friend group. You don't go out and publicly assault somebody verbally because you don't like what they did. It's crazy. You're a loser and you're old. And what are you doing? You're grown women. And it's not the men doing this. The men aren't going out and attacking people online. The guy got no backlash. Um, Andy, whatever his name is, he didn't get any backlash because you know what? Men don't do that. Women are the ones that are attacking other women and they need to stop. And that's why women are so made fun of by men because men don't act like this. So cut it out. She has a 15 and 17-year-old. She said that their lives were, she couldn't even go to their college experience because the kids are like, don't even come close. We don't want that kind of drama at her school. And she respected that. So she had to stay away. And that's crazy. It is. It's crazy. She had to go into hiding basically. And she said she's just going to talk to Oprah and no one else. Whether she's tweaking the story to benefit herself, it really doesn't matter. Nobody should be attacking this woman. She was in her right to do whatever. And if she wants to go after a coworker and it's against policy, then let the company deal with it. It's again not a crime. It's not any of your business. And it's just crazy. What I really don't understand is how people like that, how more celebrities and people that end up in the limelight don't just say what I'm saying in public. Get on social media, get on YouTube, make an announcement, write a letter, post it, and say, hey, bunch of losers, get a life. This is nothing to do with you. And if you think it's normal to attack strangers for things that are not your business, get help. I don't know why people don't push back on the crazy mania that is online people and people thinking that it's, getting so invested that they go the extra mile to be disgusting to strangers. It's really crazy, and that's more disturbing to me than any of the stories, to be perfectly honest. Go watch it if you like. I thought it was great interview. Um, Kristen Cabot, and then Brooks Nader. She joined Baywatch Reboot. Shay Mitchell, Noah Beck, Hassie Harrison, Stephen Amell. I just feel reboots never work, so I will not be watching. We know it's going to be silly. They're banking on hot bodies and good looks. That never makes a good show. Look at Pamela Anderson and that movie she made, Barbed Wire. They always try to do this. Carmen Electra. They get all these hot bombshells and they try to make a movie or show with them. If you're basing it off the fact that they're hot, it's always going to flop. Hot is not interesting and hot is subjective. I prefer a hot that is more fashionable. The Baywatch get up and their whole look, it's kind of cheesy, right? It's not, why don't we do a reboot but call it something else? Make it a completely different show. Have the inspiration be Baywatch, but maybe modernize it, have their suits be better, colors and a different name and have an actual, the storyline has to be good. That's what people want to watch, a good storyline. So, I mean, I can't imagine the storyline is going to be anything different than the 90s Baywatch. And that's not interesting for today's world. So, yeah, it's going to be a flop. I don't know why they keep doing this. And these people, you think they would have better common sense. They're in the industry, they have all the money and the backings. Why don't we make it a good show? you know it sucks because Brooks, she's great, everyone loves her. Why not make a really good show that has a good plot that people are actually interested in, and then it's just a plus that you have really beautiful people on your screen that are dressed really cute and not cheesy. I don't know, they could call it something else. They can do a different beach and call it another name, and I don't know. That's what I think. So that's that. And Tampa airport bans PJs and Crocs. Now, I want to know how that's going. I'd like a follow-up report. Anyone that's been to the Tampa airport, let me know. How are they enforcing this? What nimwit thinks jogging pants are PJs, Crocs are easy. We know what Crocs are. But how are they enforcing this? And you know what needs to be banned? Guys spitting in public. Every time I go outside to walk the dog, or walk anywhere, there's always some gross guy spitting on the sidewalk. How's that not a biohazard with COVID and everything else going around? You're spitting, and my shoes have to step over your spit and touch whatever, and my dog's paw has to touch your spit when you spit in the grass. It's so disgusting. Why don't we care about things that matter? Now, of course, you shouldn't wear PJs to the airport, but PJs should be banned anywhere because you shouldn't be going out in your PJs. But I don't know, the things that people focus on, the government especially, it's just like, what is going on? But I'd like to know, how are they enforcing it? What are they doing to make sure that's not happening? And if it's a man enforcing it, we know men don't know anything. So about PJs and Crocs. Well, you know what I gotta watch? The Last Thing He Told Me. Oh, I gotta watch that. That's a book that I read, The Last Thing He Told Me. They made a movie or a series. I think it's on Apple, and it has Jennifer Garner. And I started to watch the first one, and so sometimes I get bored if I already read the book and I know what's going to happen, and I watch the show. It's just like, okay, whatever. If I already know what's going to happen, I kind of don't enjoy it. But they came out with a part two, and they do that sometimes, just like Big Little Lies. They made a part two, even though it was only one book. And I did see that they're making a second book. But how do they make a second book when the series already has two seasons? Are they going to base another season on the book, even though it might not match the story they made on film? I don't know. It's very confusing. But I got to go watch The Last Thing He Told Me, part two, because I didn't read that because they made it up. So I'm going to go watch that. All right, Slow Mo, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. With all the drama with Taylor Frankie Paul, she also was at the Oscars, and no one knew. She went to the Oscars, she went to the red carpet, and then all this drama dropped afterwards. So everyone was confused. They said, how is she at the Oscars? Did this happen the night before, 2 days before? Did this happen in LA? When did this happen? What's going on? Everyone was very confused. Apparently, a new domestic fight happened between Taylor and Dakota, February 23 and 24. So a few weeks ago, that happened. I don't know if the cops are called. Apparently they were, and the news didn't get out, which is weird for weeks. Then she goes to the Oscars, and the news drops and someone leaks it. What is the extent of the domestic quote unquote fight? We don't know. So we need to wait for information and stop speculating. They're reporting that she tried to choke him, that the fight happened in his home. I mean, in a car, and that she tried to choke him with a necklace. But then I heard another report that it happened in a house. I don't know. Apparently it happened over 2 different nights. He was at her house one night with the kid, and she flipped out, and then he left, and then he went back the next day. Now, why would you go back? Why would you go back and hang out in the house if that already happened one night? See, that's the toxicity. They're both very toxic, but I've said it from day one. I think Taylor's ruining Dakota's life. And I say that with a grain of salt because I don't think Dakota's healthy, but I feel it's just like the scenario of when two 18-year-olds get really drunk, a girl and a guy. They're both really drunk, but we put all the blame on the guy because the guy's the one, quote unquote, taking advantage of the girl. Let's say they sleep together and she was so inebriated she didn't want it, but she wanted it at the time because she didn't know what she was doing. But at the same time, if the guy is 18 and he's also very drunk, he doesn't know what he's doing unless he's like a super aggressive predator type guy. But a lot of the times it's just a drunk kid that happens to be male, and he also doesn't know what the hell's going on, and he's super drunk. So you can't blame him. They're both in the same boat. And I think this is the same with Taylor and Dakota. I think they're both broken. They're both toxic, but I do think Taylor is a slightly more toxic, slightly more aggressive, and slightly more disturbed. I don't have anything against Taylor. I enjoy the show. I enjoy watching her. I see what I see, and I'm just saying what I see. I have nothing against her. People online that are just trying to defend her because they're her fans, you could still like her and say what you see. It doesn't have to be together. You can still support someone and enjoy them and be their fan and say, well, obviously this is what it is. I don't know why people are so crazy that you have to make up stories and make up that it's all his fault just because you're her fan. And it doesn't mean that even if he's just as bad as her, she's still it doesn't change how bad she is. She just is. And so let's talk about the season before we get into that massive fight they had. And at the same time, Huda from Love is Blind was put a restraining order on by Louis, her boyfriend, which apparently they're still together because after all that happened, he posted that he was in the studio with her and she's recording a song. And she went and violated his baby mama's house and tried to break in and wrote all these text messages that she's going to hurt herself and all this stuff, which is insane. She's insane. I said it from the beginning of Love Island. I can spot that a mile away. And it just takes a little bit for the real crazy to pop out. It didn't take long for her, but people needed more proof, and now you have it. And apparently he's still with her, so that's insane. Why would you let someone like that around your kid? She's not well, and glorifying these people and bringing them up only hurts them because they're blind and they don't grow in the right way, and they continue to get more toxic. So I had on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives last week in the background. It's such vanilla drama. I love this kind of show. I wish the housewives were more like this, that they have their talks. And even when they fight, the fight between Jen and Whitney, Whitney's like, fuck you. But it's just a vanilla fuck you. You know, it doesn't escalate, which I love. And no one is not finishing their meal. And it doesn't higher your cortisol levels. It's not like the housewives, everyone talking over each other and screaming. And it's so stupid. These people are actual friends. There's actual relationships going on. So it's nice. It's nice in the background. Although I've weaned off a little as far as my intensity of paying attention. You know, I'm cleaning, I'm doing other stuff. It's just on in the background. I can hear what's happening. Stop and watch it for a little bit, keep going, whatever. Because it is getting a little old. It is, you know, at some point you stop and say, why am I watching this? I'm too old to watch this. But you know, I'm grandfathered in. I started watching in the beginning. I'm going to want to continue. At some point, if it gets dumb, I'll stop watching. But I enjoy it so far. I just don't enjoy when 30-year-olds are saying mom talk and dad talk and referencing that they need a new leader in the group. And it sounds silly. They need to stop. They should probably just not talk about mom talk anymore. They don't need to at this point. They're already famous. Just act like you're a group of friends and shut up with the mom talk, because it's embarrassing for the people that are over 35 and watching it. You know, it's silly. You have 4 kids, you're married, you don't need to talk about a group called Mom Talk. But anyways, so another thing about Taylor, Frankie, Paul, Nick Viall is getting dragged because I don't know if you remember on his podcast, he took credit for his idea of putting Taylor, Frankie, Paul on The Bachelorette because he was on The Bachelor and he said, I guess on his show that she should go on The Bachelorette. And when they did it, he took all the credit. And look, Nick, your idea worked out terribly. They're not even going to air the show. So why don't you talk about it? And it's so interesting because on this week's podcast, he said, out of respect for the nature of whatever, we're not going to talk about it. You know what, Nick? That was really, really, really ridiculous for you not to talk about it. You talk about everything. You have everyone on, you talk about everything, and because it was your idea, now, you know, it's the same thing with Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. Like, you're going to defend Ryan Reynolds to the death, which is fine. Everyone has their opinion, but you're being blindsided. You're blinding yourself to the facts in front of you, and you kind of twist it, and this is your way of twisting this. You can't say, oh, you were wrong about Taylor. She's toxic AF. You can't say it because it makes you look wrong. But guess what? Everyone has a wrong take. We appreciate it if you talk about it because it was your idea to put her on there knowing she's the last person on earth that should be on The Bachelorette. She's the last person that wants to find true love at the moment in her life. So you were wrong and you should say it. Anyways, so the show starts. It's so funny. Every scene, Jesse is going back and saying that divorce, divorce, divorce. If I get a divorce, I'm not ready for a divorce. But when we get a divorce and if we get a divorce, and I'm preparing for the divorce, but I'm not ready for a divorce. And every scene that she's in, she's talking about divorce. And it's interesting. Are you getting divorced? Is this just for show? Like, what are we doing here? They just announced that they're getting divorced. He filed for divorce, apparently, not her. So that's interesting. And was she just playing it along? Did she want him to file for some reason? Is there some legality behind that? Maybe she was pushing him away to the point that he would do it because we didn't think he would, right? Because he's cushy in his lifestyle and he doesn't want to leave it. But maybe now that he knows the prenup might not be enforced or he can fight it, he's like, screw it, I'm out. And he filed. So they're filing for divorce. And so every scene she's coming out. It's interesting because Jessie seems like she is the, I hate to say it, leader of Mom Talk. It's so silly. But Jessie doesn't know she's coming or going. As far as her personal life, she may be good at business, but she's not good in her personal life. That relationship is a mess. And I heard on the Toast, Jackie and Claudia talking about the fact that this show has only brought them money and success, but it's ruining their personal lives. And I completely agree. I think if they care about their personal lives, they should probably quit while they're ahead. But they got themselves in a pickle because they had these men staying at home. They got them used to this dynamic, which they never should have allowed. Men need to work. I will die on that hill. I could never be with a man that doesn't work. I don't care where you work. You better be working. It's disgusting for a man to stay home all day and learn magic. I don't care who you are. I said what I said. This is awful for the girls because if they wanted to get off the show or stop doing stuff like this, because it does get exhausting, they can't because they're the breadwinners and now all the pressure's on them. And these guys, they're young enough they could start working again, which they should. They should start right now and say, you know what, let's change this dynamic and go get your career back and go do your thing. We have enough money for nannies and babysitters, and let's get back to normal living because this is crazy. That's what I think. These kids love to go to daycare. Kids love who cares? Kids are supposed to go to school all day. Go work. We'll get a nanny. We'll do that. That's what they should do. Because if they want to change their lifestyle and they get sick of this and it breaks up their family, they're better off going back to a regular kind of dynamic. And the guys need to work and they have too much time on their hands with this dad talk baloney, which is so embarrassing. So they need to hop off that train and get on another one, please. So that's what I think. I think all their marriages are suffering. Michaela's, Macy's even was showing some cracks. Jessie, Taylor, and well, Layla, she's not married, but oh my God, Layla. The fact that she said that she was on GLP-1 was crazy and astonishing. I was shocked. Why would somebody that's already real thin naturally get on that? And she claims eating disorder. That's not an eating disorder. That's a recipe for death. She was knocking on death's door. Her knees would hurt her when she slept because she's skin and bones. She did post today, in today's current world, she posted on her Instagram that she's off the meds, and she posted a before and after, and she looks so much better after, which is now. She was so real thin. It was so scary. I don't know why people, going back to the Oscars, everyone's talking about the bodies on the red carpet. It was so refreshing to see regular bodies like Kate Hudson and just regular people. Demi Moore looks crazy. You know, when people get sick, they get a disease, they get cancer, they're dying, they're in a hospital bed and they can't keep food down and they don't want to eat. This is what these people look like. It's not sexy and it's not hot. Amanda from Summer House, she used to have an athletic, thin, beautiful body. Now she looks 95 years old with stringy hair and no body. It's not cute. And people need to speak up more because if you take away the fact that it's not cute, forget about the looks. They're malnutrition. This is modern day anorexia and it shouldn't be celebrated. And why are you doing it if you don't even look cute anymore? So it's a double negative and you're ruining your health because this has repercussions. If you're malnutrition over a certain amount of time, if you're not getting the right vitamins over a certain amount of time, if you don't have the muscle, osteoporosis, all this stuff. Anyways, I was shocked that Layla was on it. I'm glad that she reversed that. Now that Layla, I would have never dreamt that Layla was on it because she was always so skinny. So why would she even get on it? I'm thinking Taylor Frankie Paul's on it because she's also always been very thin, but she used to work out. She used to have a regular thin body. Now she looks sickly. Yes, she's depressed and she's always, going through all these issues, but she's been significantly thinner since after giving birth. And I do think she's probably on it too. And if she is, she should get off because that will probably help her mood because GLPs are known to make people depressed. And some people, everyone is different. It affects you differently. And that is a side effect. You lose the joy of life because nothing looks appealing anymore. So I think if she is on it, she should probably get off and that will probably help her a lot. So Layla tried to be a model. She goes to New York. She is pretty. She could be a model, but probably on another scale. She broke up with that guy. That guy broke up with her. I remember a few weeks ago, she was posting that she was crying. I always thought it was weird for her to date the brother of a guy she already dated, which is Chase. What do I know? She'll find someone else. She's young. I think she's younger than everyone else. Michaela and Jace, she says they split, but they didn't. On a recent interview, she was saying that they're working through it, and so they're not really split. They're kind of probably just living separately, and they're not split. I have a different opinion than most people, saying that he's so disgusting and he's a predator. I'm sorry. She was 16, he was 21. That is not a huge age gap, and they're close enough in age at that age that he's still a kid at 21 and she's 16. 16 is young, but in Utah, it's probably a lot more normalized than other areas. So no, I don't think he's a predator. I think, it's like he just graduated high school and she's in it. I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. So I don't see it that way. But also, everyone's like, why can't you just leave her alone? She just had a baby. She said it herself that it's not about the sex for him. It's more about the affection. He wants hand holding and maybe hugs and kisses. And I don't think that's a tall order from a husband to his wife. Now, if she's going through something, she has her health issues and she just had a baby, yes, be more patient. He seems like he's very patient. And it seems like she just doesn't do it at all, ever. And she says that they've been going through this for 4 years. So he's been patient for 4 years. I think give him a break too. He doesn't seem like a terrible guy. He seems like he really loves her. I personally think she's not attracted to him. I've said that from the beginning. I think she got with him when she was so young and he's not it for her anymore. And that's normal because she was too young. What do you know at 16? You don't even know what you like. So I think they should just split and stop trying to make it work unless she really does want to make it work. But I don't know. It doesn't seem like it to me. And if she's just not attracted, she's not ever going to be attractive unless she's sabotaging herself and she can work through it. But I don't know. I mean, they do have 3 kids, so hopefully they can work it out. But she just doesn't seem to be attracted to him, in my opinion, which is perfectly normal. She's too young. So, oh my God, Demi and her husband singing True Colors Shining Through. That was so random. What was happening there? That didn't even belong in the season. She didn't talk about it with anyone else. They didn't talk about it after. She just dropped off the show. She's yelling at him that he's off key the entire time when she sounded awful. He was putting his all. Why were they doing it? What are they doing with the recording? Oh my gosh, that was so funny. And not enough people are talking about it. Hilarious. I did see a clip. Demi, back in the day in another season, was telling Taylor, yeah, you're the abusive one. Why don't you talk about how you treat your boyfriend? Talking about Dakota. And Taylor's like, yeah, let's talk about it. She's like, yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk to Dakota, how you treat him, what you do to him. So that's very telling. So Demi's full of shit a lot of times, but she a lot of times does talk the reality, and everybody's face was freaking out in the room. It's just like when Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Taylor Armstrong, and who was it that was telling her he beats you? Oh my gosh, Kelsey Grammer, his ex-wife. She was saying he beats you, and everyone's like, I can't believe you're saying that, because everyone knows, but no one will say it. So Demi is that person. She knows, and she's saying it, and everyone's freaking out. So Taylor's been treating Dakota really poorly for a long time, and he treats her poorly in different ways, by cheating, by lying, but she's probably physically and verbally abusive. So that was interesting because this has been going on for a long time. The way Taylor talked to her mom is all I need to see. Her mom is a doormat. Her mom needs to wake up. If my kid ever talked to me like that, there'd be hell to pay. That's not happening. I would freak out if my daughter talked to me like that. Not only would I would freak out, but I would point out to my spoiled ass brat of a child, I don't care how old you are, that you need to stop whining and you need to take responsibility for your actions. It doesn't matter what happened in your past. It happened. Sure, you want to talk about it. That's one thing. But you're not going to blame your actions today on anything else. You know how many people don't know their dad? You know how many people get abused by their dad? You know how many people get violated by their dad or whatever? You're 1 in 5 billion. Grow up. You didn't have a terrible childhood. I had the bad marriage and suffered and had to raise you and found you a beautiful stepfather that took you in and adopted you. Enough already. The way she talks to her mom, and then she yells at her mom because her mom has the audacity to be disgusted and alarmed that she finds out that she goes and sleeps with Dakota yet again after Dakota sleeps with a million other people. Her mom is mortified, as she should be. And the fact that her mom allows her to talk to her like that, instead of calling her a bitch as a mom, like Taylor's mom called her a bitch, she should say, you're in La La Land and I'm not going to stand by and pretend what you're doing is not toxic and disgusting. You need help. And I'm going to continue saying that. She just needs to stand her ground. Taylor talking to her and blaming all her stuff on her mother is insane. It's insane. That trip to Colorado was such a waste of a trip. What are you doing? You could have done that on Zoom. You didn't have to travel and relive your mom's agony of memories with an abusive man to go to a diner and talk to a guy for 5 minutes. You could have done that on Zoom. No one else wanted to talk to you. It's just, but her mom is allowing this. She's a brat. Taylor's a brat, and nobody tells her anything. Her friends don't tell her anything. Nobody confronts her. Sometimes people need to be told to cut it out. Just cut it out. Everyone's over it. Cut it out. Grow up. She needs tough love, and nobody's giving it to her. All her friends, because she's the star of the show and they don't want to be kicked off and blah, blah, blah. You know, Demi tried to do it, but she did it in a bad way. And she was too harsh. But there's such a thing of just don't deal with it anymore. You know, you made your bed. Just grow up. You have kids. You're too old for this kind of thing. And that's what Taylor needs. She's full of shit. Harry Jowsey goes to the house in LA when they go to see Dancing with the Stars. Harry Jowsey is the most toxic player of a guy on all these reality shows, cheating left and right and lying. And he was mortified. She's too toxic for Harry Jowsey, people. She's too toxic. Her and Dakota made him feel like a little kid in a house wanting to hide in his room under the bunk bed because his parents are about to kill each other. Harry Jowsey is mortified. That's all we need to know about Dakota and Taylor's dynamic. That was crazy. He couldn't get out of there fast enough. He even talked about it later. He said it was worse than what they showed on TV. He said the fighting started way before. He said all these things. He's like, they're not even drinking. So you go in there and it's just a bunch of people screaming and whatever, but they're not drunk. And then there's Stanley Cups everywhere. It's like there's just Stanley Cups everywhere with the swigs and the vanilla syrups and the cherry, whatever, in their cups. That was so funny. So I don't know what else happened in the season. Her poor mom, and not her poor mom. This is her mom's doing. They created a monster, and her sister too. Taylor's sister is probably like, my sister's insane. Her half sister. Then Miranda, poor Miranda, stuck in the middle between her friend. What was her name? That Dakota was hooking up with. Taylor finds out. I think Dakota must have hooked up with 3 different women that we know of on the show. And Taylor almost made it a point to sleep with him that night. She couldn't wait. She couldn't get into his pants fast enough. Every time she heard about him hooking up with another girl, first in the villa, then with Miranda's friend, and then a third person. I forgot who else. But she just couldn't sleep with him fast enough. So is that her kink? She's like, okay, you're going to have sex with someone else. You have to have sex with me. So that will kind of make sense why Dakota keeps doing it. Because he knows the minute she finds out he's hooking up with another girl, she's going to be with him. Hello? It's called math. If you keep, it's a pattern. He knows that if he hooks up with someone else, she's going to run right back to him. And that's what she does every single time. Guys, follow your lead. This is Taylor's doing. It's just nuts. And then the fight between Whitney and Jen. Justice for Whitney. I've said it from the beginning. I told Brianna when the show first started, she's like, oh, Whitney, everyone hates Whitney. But how do you not see it? I don't see it. I don't see Whitney did anything wrong. Sure. Could she annoy you? Fine. It's not a crime. She didn't do anything terrible. I never understood the hate for Whitney. She's more level-headed. She's more grounded. And she doesn't care about the drama. The fact that she won't get into the weeds with you is because it's boring to her, which I totally get. And so Team Whitney, justice for Whitney. Jen, to me, is a nimwit. I'm sorry. Jen is ridiculous. She says she grew up in the ghetto. We all know she didn't. She doesn't know where Chicago is, the show. She thought Whitney was flying to Chicago. She's kind of dumb. And her boyfriend, her husband, Zach, is right next to her because he's dumb enough to think it's a good idea to go meet Whitney in lieu of Jen as her fill-in. I mean, what an idiot. What are you doing, Zach? Zach, I had hopes for you. I thought you were getting better, and now you're showing you're not. Grow up, go back to medical school or law school or wherever school you were going to, get your life back, get your brain cells back. This is not good for any of you. You both look like two nimwits, Mr. and Mrs. Jen talks in circles. Jen is now pulling out of her butt that Whitney, because she doesn't trust Whitney because she's friends with Demi. She's been friends with Demi. She was friends with Demi when she helped you through your hard time. You just turned on Whitney for no reason. There's proof that Whitney keeps reaching out to you, says if you're okay, do you need anything, happy birthday, whatever. You're ignoring her, and then you blame her for the fact that you're not being her friend. I mean, what the hell, Jen? I think it's just Jen's just jealous. She's jealous of her success. She thought she'd do better because she's been doing stupid TikToks all these years, and she's like, I got this. And she didn't, and she had just given birth, and she chose to join. She should have waited. She shouldn't have joined right after giving birth. She probably wasn't her best self. She was exhausted, and it was too much, and that's fine. But why are you taking it out on Whitney? You made everyone hate Whitney more. Whitney's already going through the toxic social media stuff. I can't with Jen. She did the same thing before. She just goes in circles, and she doesn't make sense. So you're arguing with her, and you're like, wait, what are we talking about? This doesn't make any sense. So anyways, Whitney blew the Chicago sales out of the park. She's outsold the show more than anyone in the history of the show. Chicago, I think, 10 plus years. And that's amazing. So they extended her contract. Go Whitney. Whitney's the only one that's coming out of this unscathed. She could give a shit about all these dysfunctional people. And she's like, I'll be your friend if you want to be my friend. I'm not going to do the drama. So if you want to be real friends, we can. If not, I'm out. And she's the one that has her eye on the prize. She's the one that's getting the most out of this experience, in my opinion. So the scene at the end of the show when Taylor's supposed to go off to the Bachelorette, her mom and sister show up, her kids are around, she won't come out of the bedroom. She spent the whole night with Dakota. What the hell do they do that she ends up in such a weird state? What are they doing? Are they having sex? Or are they, verbally attacking each other all night? What are they doing? I don't understand. But then the mom is pissed. The sister's pissed. They go to the airport. They grab her kids. The kids are with her. The kids hear all this stuff about, you slept with Dakota. You didn't sleep with Dakota. Get out of bed. You don't want. That alone is bad parenting in the least. And even if she didn't hit Dakota, the way they fight in front of her kids, if they do that, that is abuse. And her kids are listening to all this, and they're old enough. Her kids are older. So I want to know what the baby daddy thinks, because they did show a photo of Dakota and her ex-husband at the courthouse. I don't know what they were doing. They say they were claiming that they were both getting a restraining order. I don't know if that's true. From what I've seen, she says her ex-husband really supports her and they've never had an issue. But again, her ex-husband has a different personality than Dakota. Taylor could grow to be more toxic and she can unleash herself in a way with Dakota that she can't with the ex, because maybe the ex is like Whitney. They don't. Whitney closes that door. Whitney doesn't allow for it to keep going, and maybe her ex is like that. Dakota's one that invites the drama and toxicity and even makes it worse, so it gets worse. Now, apparently they had this huge fight. They cut off The Bachelor. They're not going to show it. Now, to me, that's crazy. The Bachelor already knew she had this domestic incident in 2023. Who released the video? Dakota said he didn't. Obviously, it came from Dakota somehow because it's his video. Maybe he had a friend have it. Maybe a family member had it. Somebody released it. Who knows? But that's not the point. The point is ABC and Hulu knew about this. And apparently on last year's reunion, they cut out the clips that they were both, everyone was talking about how Dakota and Taylor have a physical altercation type of relationship all the time. And they cut that out. Hulu and ABC know the history. They wanted the ratings. They thought it would break records. Air the show. Air the fucking show. I don't understand why you're not airing the show, because you're blaming it on something you already knew. Just because everyone's seeing it now, which we already knew. The reports from before, from when the first show aired, we knew she threw a chair. So yeah, we didn't hear the whole thing and see it and hear the baby crying, but we knew she threw the chair. She got arrested. She was still on probation from her arrest. That was up in August, and she just messed that up. So we'll see what happens. So they knew this. It's a public record. They witnessed it. They saw it. The cameras were there. I think ABC pulling this is bullshit. It's just bullshit. They already knew it. You decided to put her on. Worst decision ever. She's the furthest thing from the Bachelorette there is. You should have put Miranda on. She's looking for love. She's decent. She's normal. And she would have really put her all in that. But you made the decision. So air it. Put the freaking Bachelorette on. I don't understand. You already knew this. So you're making everyone in the public, you're thinking we're dumb. You already knew this. Just because it's in the air, it doesn't change the facts didn't change. You knew this. I don't know. I think they should air it. I was never going to watch it anyways. It's a waste of time because I already know she's toxic and not take it seriously. But the people that want to watch, let them watch. I think they should air it. Maybe even just put it on Peacock and don't put it on, I don't know, But I do think they should air it, and it's kind of silly. I'm waiting to see. I can't imagine that what happened recently in February 23rd is the same as what happened in 2023. I think in 2023, first of all, she was wasted. She was drunk. She was super drunk, and that really escalates the situation. Second, I think she either stopped drinking or drinks less. So I think this is just pure fury. Hopefully she wasn't drunk. I don't know. Does she do drugs? I don't know. So if she's sober, it's probably less of a situation. I don't know. We have to wait for the facts. I just think they should air the show and stop playing stupid. You already knew what you were getting into. You made a decision. Now lie in it. I think you should stand on 2 feet and say, look, we made a decision. We spent a lot of money on this. We took a chance. And we're still going to air it. We don't condone what's happening, but this was in 2023. Now this just happened. We're about to air. Let's just air it. I don't know. I think they should. I really do. They spent like millions of dollars. So anyways, I think that's it. We'll see what happens with that. I feel bad for her in the sense of this, happening to anybody. I'm sure she's at a breaking point. I mean, how much can somebody go through? It seems like she's always having a hard time. Her stories and everything are always talking about depression and all that. Is it more for show? I don't know. Maybe she has personality. What's that called? Borderline personality? People that have borderline personality, they need help. They need therapy. And I don't know what medication they give you, but I think she needs to get off the show. I don't think it helps. And for her kids' sake, really just take a breath. I mean, I wonder if they're going to just cancel the show because they stopped the filming. The girl said they don't feel comfortable until she gets help, and they should probably just stop. They were filming too much, plus everything else going on. We'll see. Maybe it's time for it to end. I don't want to hear mom talk anymore. Dad talk needs to end too. Poor Jordan. He's like, my dreams. Taylor just needs her mom to just tell her to grow up. This too shall pass. You went through it in 2023. This also will be something in the rearview mirror. You're young. This will be something you forget. The main issue is for you to move forward in a serious, positive way and just kind of snap out of it. One day you smoke every day, one day you wake up, you never smoke again. It's when you make that decision when you've had enough is enough, and it really just stops. Just like when, you're breaking up for 2 years and one day you wake up, you're like, you know what, this is done. I'm done. And you never go back and you never go through it again. And Taylor can do that. It's easy once you're confident that you've had enough. So I think she'll be okay. And, you know, we'll see. I want to go see Chicago, but I don't know if I will in time before Whitney stops. But I think she has a movie coming out too. If I wasn't mistaken, I saw her have a movie in the works. So, anyways, until next time, with more juicy gossip, be your best selves. Bye.